When Jurassic World roared into theaters in 2015, it carried the weight of reviving one of cinema's most beloved franchises. Spielberg's original Jurassic Park from 1993 was a groundbreaking blend of spectacle, story, and that whole chaos theory thing. And with the newly announced Jurassic World Rebirth, it's clear the franchise is taking another shot. So what went wrong the last time, and could Rebirth fix it? Or will it fall into the same traps? The original Jurassic Park understood the power of restraint, maybe minus the whole feeding a lawyer to a T-Rex thing. Spielberg knew that showing too much too quickly would diminish the impact of his prehistoric creatures. That's why the first glimpse of a Brachiosaurus was a moment of pure awe. It was carefully built up through John Williams' soaring score and the actors presenting what feels like genuine reactions of wonder. The T-Rex attack, meanwhile, was terrifying because we spent time getting to know these characters who were then put into immense danger, and so we felt concerned about their well-being. I mean, again, except for the lawyer. This is a world with stakes, people. The first Jurassic World, by contrast, suffers from what could be called spectacle inflation. The park is fully operational with thousands of visitors, dozens of species, and attractions that make the original concept of Jurassic Park look quaint by comparison. Hell, they have a damn Margaritaville. While this should theoretically increase the sense of wonder, it instead dilutes it. When dinos are everywhere, performing tricks and being treated as mere entertainment, they lose their majesty. The franchise had transformed creatures that once inspired reverence with theme park attractions, both literally within the story and metaphorically within the context of the productions themselves. Sure, there is something to be said about finally seeing the park fully operational, but it's a gimmick that runs out of steam shockingly fast. This shift reflects a broader problem in modern blockbuster cinema, the belief that more is always better, something exemplified by the hollow yet dinosaur-filled Jurassic World Dominion. Where Spielberg used one T-Rex to create unforgettable tension, Dominion throws all sorts of species into chaotic action sequences that feel more like video game cutscenes than meaningful dramatic moments. The dinosaurs have thus become purely spectacle rather than characters in their own right. Well, except for Blue and her offspring. Oddly enough, the films that most reduce the dinos to crude spectacle also offer up the most directly humanized dino, and it's a velociraptor to boot. This presents a bit of a conundrum. Am I wrong? Does Jurassic World actually present its spectacle as more than just, well, spectacle? While I do think that the intention with Blue is wise enough, I also think there's something not quite right about her. Specifically, I think she represents how the Jurassic World trilogy is at odds with what made Jurassic Park work so well. She's an oversimplification. These are wild animals we're talking about, and the '93 film treats them as such. They don't have morals, they don't pick a side, they're just animals. That doesn't mean they don't have character, it just means that they behave in a way that they would naturally. For the most part, their interests lie entirely in eating the flailing flesh bags running around Isla Nublar, or, for the less carnivorous, to eat plants and vibe. Blue, meanwhile, has been trained into being a good raptor, to the point that we see her actively making moral judgments. Oh, God, and that reminds me of that awful scene where the raptors talk to the Indominus Rex in Jurassic World. Woof. It's a fun enough flick, and the aftermath of that scene where you get all the POV cams of both the raptors and the soldiers is pretty sick, but the impetus for that moment has to go down as one of the dumbest ideas in the franchise. Anyway, I just think Blue as a concept doesn't quite work. If anything, she's proof to the contrary of the original film's message that playing God never works out. Sure, the park falls apart, but only after training the most vicious creatures in the franchise to follow the commands of Andy freaking Dwyer.
I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know I'm doing it really, really well.
After that, it's only due to the creation of a clearly evil super dino that things go tits up. The head honchos of Jurassic World weren't just playing God, they were spitting in God's face and calling him mean names. But hey, I'm getting in the weeds here. Let's move on.
Smoke weed every day.
One of the most glaring issues with the Jurassic World franchise is actually its treatment of the human characters. The original film took time to establish its protagonists as real people with distinct personalities, motivations, and character arcs. Dr. Alan Grant's journey from someone uncomfortable with children to a protective father figure felt organic and meaningful. Dr. Ellie Sattler was a competent paleobotanist whose expertise was crucial to the plot. Even the supporting characters, from the cynical Ian Malcolm to the well-meaning John Hammond, felt like complete individuals. The Jurassic World films, however, treat their human characters as little more than plot devices designed to move the action from one set piece to another. Owen Grady exists primarily to run alongside raptors and deliver quips. Claire Dearing's character development feels forced and superficial, shifting from corporate executive to action hero without the careful character work that would make such a transformation believable. The children in these films exist solely to be rescued, lacking the intelligence and agency that made Tim and Lex memorable in the original. And I'm pretty sure the lawyer was replaced with a babysitter, which just, I don't know, feels gross. This problem extends to the franchise's handling of legacy characters. Bringing back iconic figures like Dr. Grant and Dr. Sattler should have been a triumphant moment, but their inclusion in Dominion feels more like fan service than meaningful storytelling. These characters are given little to do beyond reminding audiences of better films, and their presence only serves to highlight how much the writing has declined. Perhaps the most troubling aspect of the Jurassic World franchise is its persistent fascination with weaponizing dinosaurs and its resulting thematic confusion. While the original films treated militarization as an obviously terrible idea, the newer trilogy seems genuinely interested in exploring dinosaurs as weapons of war, fundamentally misunderstanding what made these creatures compelling. They were never meant to be tools for human warfare, but rather representations of nature's power and our inability to control it. This shift has led to increasingly absurd plot developments and undermined the environmental and philosophical themes that gave the original films their depth. Original film, anyway. The franchise struggles with thematic coherence, attempting to address modern concerns like genetic modification and corporate greed, but these themes feel superficial and contradictory, criticizing the commercialization of nature while simultaneously being products of that same commercialization. The technical achievements of the Jurassic World films represent the triumph of spectacle over emotional storytelling. While the special effects are undeniably impressive, they lack the weight and impact of the original film's groundbreaking work, which was revolutionary precisely because it was invisible. Audiences believed in dinosaurs rather than marveling at CGI. The newer films, despite having far more advanced technology, often feel artificial and weightless, prioritizing impossible camera movements and elaborate destruction over intimate, terrifying encounters. This problem is compounded by the franchise's reliance on familiar beats and recycled ideas, repeatedly returning to the same scenarios of children in peril and last-minute rescues, making what was once fresh and surprising feel predictable and formulaic. The fundamental problem with the Jurassic World franchise is that it has missed the point of what made Jurassic Park great. The original film succeeded not because of its dinosaurs alone, but because of how those dinosaurs served larger themes about humanity, nature, and our place in the world. It trusted audiences to be moved by wonder as much as by terror, understanding that spectacle without meaning is ultimately hollow. The Jurassic World films, despite their commercial success, represent a step backward in blockbuster filmmaking, prioritizing immediate gratification over lasting impact and fan service over genuine storytelling. In trying to recapture the lightning in a bottle that was Jurassic Park, the franchise has instead demonstrated why that lightning was so special in the first place. It wasn't just about the dinosaurs, but everything else that made us care about them. And yet, with all that said, there is a light at the end of the tunnel: Jurassic World Rebirth. Yes, while I've gone on and on about the problems with the Jurassic World franchise, and you'd really like me to shut up at this point, there is something different about the fourth installment in the reboot series. For one thing, there's director Gareth Edwards, who has a thoughtful approach to filmmaking, exemplified in films like Monsters and Godzilla, which also feature a distinct knack for showcasing scale in a very realistic way. Add to that, the film was written by original Jurassic Park scribe David Koepp, who of all people should understand what makes a good Jurassic flick. Between the two of them, there's a chance that Jurassic World Rebirth will bring back a sense of wonder and scale that's mostly missing from the rest of the Jurassic World catalog. The film also has been described as a soft reboot, and thank Hammond for that. What we've got here is, yes, a continuation of a continuity that hasn't been kind to the tenets of the series which made the original so compelling, but has mostly thrown out the problematic aspects like Blue, Owen, and, that whole god-awful cast of characters. No more super locusts or clones. No, instead we're focusing on the dinosaurs and the implications of man playing God. Of course, I haven't had a chance to see the film yet, so maybe I'm wrong. After all, there's still a dumb hybrid dino at the center of things. So what do you think? Did Jurassic World Rebirth solve the problems of the franchise, continue them, or develop all new issues? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching ScreenRant.